Let's talk the color. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk the color. Woo!
Good evening, everybody. Hey, how's everybody doing? It's Cutler here, the Let's Talk to Cutler Virtual Book Club, the Let's Talk to Cutler time when we spend these 1800 seconds live. It is another Tuesday. It is the 17th of March. Happy St. Patrick's Day and happy birthday to so many people in my family and in my circles. Lots of people have March birthdays. And so wishing you all a happy March, happy birthday. The year is moving right along, you all. The year is moving right along. I declare that's my southern way of talking coming out. The year is moving right along. I declare it's moving right along. But in case you're stopping by for the very first time and you wonder, what is this guy here talking about? What is going on? What is this broadcast about? What is this platform about? This platform is a moment where we have a chance to offer some inspiration, some motivation. And from time to time, we will even challenge you, or I challenge you, and I hope that you challenge me to do what? To show up your best selves, even in the worst of situations, because life happens. Life happens. May I say that life happens? And so we spend these 1800 seconds together. And so we can talk about making sure that we respond in such a way that we are not embarrassed about our response. Make sure that when we respond to life and all of its idiosyncrasies and all of its challenges, we talk about how to respond in such a way that our character is still in check, our integrity is still intact. We talk about all those things. We had an interesting conversation last week. If you didn't get a chance to watch, please go and replay and watch that broadcast. It was an amazing conversation. I thought it was a powerful conversation about making sure that you just don't stay in unhealthy places too long just because they're comfortable and just because they're familiar. That was a great conversation. If you ask me, I may be a little biased, but I thought that was a great conversation. If you were here last week and you thought that was a good conversation, just put in the comments, oh, it was, or something like that. But again, last week we talked about making sure that you don't stay in unhealthy situations just because they're comfortable. We stay in a lot of uncomfortable situations just because they are familiar. We stay in a lot of unhealthy situations because they seem to be comfortable. But we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to rehash that today. Today, we're going to talk about learning to let go. Learning to let go. So on one hand, we talked about making sure that you don't stay in unhealthy situations just because they're comfortable or just because they're familiar. But this evening, we're going to focus on the opposite end of that, or the opposite side, learning how to let go. When people say that their time in your life is up or their season in your life is up, learn how to graciously let go. We hold up, Cutler, don't get into it just yet. Let me just say this. Thank you, those of you who have been with me for a while. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate your tenacity. I appreciate your encouragement and your support down through the years. We've been doing this now since 2020, you all. So it has been 6 years and we're still doing it. So thank you all. Thank you. I see those of you who are over in the chat. Those of you who are over there in the chat, let me just shout out the LTTC VIPs for just a moment. Those are the first 3 people that I see who are coming to the chat. Some people tell me that Cutler, I was there first. You didn't call my name, but I'm just going by what I see from my end, you all. So it looks like there's Annie Cutler who says, let's ride. Let's see who shows up there. That's Annie Cutler who says, let's ride. There's my friend Queen Nita who says, good evening, let's ride. And then there's T Cutler who says, happy Tuesday. Well, happy Tuesday to all of you all. I hope that you had a great weekend. I hope that the year is moving along in such a way. Now, do me a favor, invite someone else. Tell them, come on, let's talk to Cutler. What was interesting was that last week while we were chit-chatting, someone sent a message, and I was included on the text message in the text thread. I thought it was so funny. They said, hey, you need to hop on to the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. So if you haven't had the chance, share with people. Tell them, come on, let's talk to Cutler. The man is just trying to help save somebody's life. I really am. I'm talking out of a place of candor, sometimes a place of just transparency, because these are things that really are just near and dear to me. I want to go ahead and jump into this conversation, you all, because you all know this. I only have 1,800 seconds. I don't have a whole lot of time. 1,800 seconds seems to go by so quickly when we're having fun and we're having these fascinating conversations. But I want to start because I realize that sometimes we don't know how to let go. When people say my time is up, we don't know how to release them. We don't know how to let them go. And there's a truth that we don't talk about. Not everyone assigned to your life is assigned forever. Let me say that again. Not everyone who is a part of your life or who is present in your life right now, not everyone who is assigned or who is a part of your life is assigned to your life forever. No, I'm not talking about people who die or who just pass on. No. I'm talking about while they are still living. Not everyone assigned to your life is assigned forever. Some people are seasonal. Some people are like the seasons. They are just there for a season. Some people are situational. Some people are there for a certain circumstance, for a certain happening, for a certain situation. Some people are situational. And some are transformational, but temporary. We have to understand that not everybody who comes into our life to stay. And again, I'm not talking about dying, but I'm just talking about their ability to move on, their ability to influence or impact our lives for a certain season or for a certain time or for a certain duration. Everybody does not come to stay. Some people, again, are seasonal. Some people are situational. Some people are transformational, but temporary. It means they are there to help you make certain changes and certain transitions and to make certain transformations, but they are still there just on a temporary basis. And if you are not careful, you will try to hold on to people when their time in your space and in your sphere of influence is over. How many of you have ever tried to, okay, you don't have to raise your hands, you don't have to say it's me, you don't have to put anything in the chat, but there are some times when you have to make sure that you don't hold on to people, because if you're not careful, you will. People will say, my time is up, let me go, my time is over. And I'm not talking about marriages or things like that, but I'm just talking about in relationships, business relationships, or just whatever the case may be. I'm not talking about marriages, you all. Well, I'm not talking about marriages, but if you're not careful, you try to hold on to people long after their purpose in your life has expired. That is because we sometimes build dependencies and we build codependencies and we build comfort zones and spaces in people. But you have to make sure that you don't hold on to people after their purpose in your life has expired. Make sure you don't do that. So today we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about something. It's difficult, it's emotional, and sometimes it's even deeply spiritual. How to release people and let them go. But what is the key word? How to release them and let them go graciously. Sometimes we release people and we let them go, and we have emotional attachments and we have attitudes and we have harsh feelings and we have bitter feelings and all of that kind of stuff. But this evening, I want to talk about how to release people and let them go graciously. Not with bitterness, not with resentment, not with drama, but with wisdom, peace, and maturity. Now, I've had difficulties sometimes because I'm a creature, or can be a creature, of habit. And I tend to appreciate all the people that the Creator allows to come into my path and allows to come into my space. And I wish I could. As a child, I wished I could create a space. I mean, a big space where everybody that I loved could live together. But as life did what life does, I got older and I matured and life happened. And I understood that it is impossible for me to have all the people that I love in one space all the time. So I want to talk about for a few moments the reality of seasons. Let me just start there. The reality of seasons, because some people come into your life for a season. May I say this, you all go honestly. Tell somebody, come on, let's talk to color, because I feel that this conversation is going to go somewhere this evening. Just tag somebody, just text them and say, hey, I think you might need to chime in onto this conversation, or just come on in and listen. Because when we talk about letting people go, here's what I understand. Every relationship has a rhythm. Every relationship has a rhythm. Every connection has a life cycle. Let me say that again. While we're trying to hold on to everybody who comes into our life, we don't want them to move. We don't want them to go anywhere. But every relationship has a rhythm and every connection has a life cycle. And one of the greatest signs of emotional and spiritual maturity is recognizing when a season has ended. So let me just talk about, maybe I'll make it easy. Let me at least talk about from the spiritual perspective, from the spiritual aspect. One of the greatest signs of emotional and spiritual maturity is recognizing when a season has ended. Listen, we have to grow up to that point. We don't struggle because people leave. We struggle because we don't know how to let them go. That's it. That's the challenge. It's not the fact that they left. It's the fact that we don't know how to let them go. Am I talking to anybody? Do you know anybody like that? Do you know people like that? Do you know people who could benefit from this conversation? Learn how to let people go. Understand that relationships do have rhythms. Connections do have life cycles. And we have to come face to face with the fact that, oh, you know what? It's not the fact that people leave. My real issue is that I don't know how to let them go. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how learning how to graciously let people go. Learning how not to hold on to them when they've said, you've got to release me. What does that necessitate, Cutler? What does it look like? What does it mean? Give me some insight, if you will. Absolutely. So let's talk for a few moments about, just learning how to graciously let people go. Well, I think we can graciously let people go if we do this first and foremost: understand and accept that purpose can be temporary. Purpose can be temporary. Some people were sent to help you grow. They weren't sent to stay. They were sent to help you grow. And what does that mean? It means that from time to time, you've got to stop measuring relationship success based on longevity. Oh, it wasn't a good relationship because it didn't last long. It wasn't a good friendship because it didn't last long. It wasn't a good connection between neighbors because it didn't last long. Stop saying that. Stop measuring the success of a relationship based on longevity. What if you just entered a relationship 2 days ago? Is it not successful because you haven't had any duration or any tenure or any longevity? Some people fulfill their assignment simply by being there when you need them the most. I started to say I've lived a long time. Relatively speaking, I haven't lived that long. I know people who've lived to be over 100. I know people who are currently now in their 90s and in their 80s and their 70s. I'm thankful to be here in my 60s. So I've lived long enough to know that, you all. Some people fulfill their assignments in your life simply by being there when you need them the most. It doesn't mean they have to stick around. It doesn't mean they have to be there always. I went to law school in Atlanta. I didn't stay in Atlanta and live in Atlanta forever, but there were people who were a part of my life. And I thank God that they were a part of my life because they were there when I needed them the most. Now, I'm still in connection and contact with some of them. Some of them I'm not in as frequent of contact as I am with the others. But can I say to you, there are people who are a part of your life when they are there simply when you need them the most. So my relationship with them was a success. I don't talk to them every day now. There are no harsh feelings between me and them, but I don't talk to them every day. But can I tell you this, that the success of my relationship with them was just that, successful. And it's not measured on longevity. I haven't lived in Atlanta since I went to law school in the 90s, in the 1990s. Not the 1890s, of course, the 29th, not even here. But you get my point. Stop measuring success. Stop measuring relationship success based on longevity. And understand that sometimes people feel their assignments in your life simply because they were there when you needed them the most. There was the family when I went to law school in Atlanta. They were there when I needed them the most. Now, they are still a very, very current part of my life, but there are others who are not a recent current part of my life on an ongoing basis. But I'm so thankful that I met them, and I'm so thankful that they were a part of my life. They were there when I needed them the most. So that's one way to just graciously let people move on and let them go. Except that purpose can be temporary. And then stop forcing what the Creator is ending. When you have to force a connection, it is already breaking. Let me say that again. And Cutler, stop clapping so loud because you're creating a ring in your own ear. When you have to force a connection, it is already ending. It's already breaking. If it requires constant strain, constant manipulation, or emotional exhaustion just to maintain, it may be out of season. Stop forcing what the Creator is already ending. Understand that. Go and tell somebody who keeps coming to you talking about, can you tell me how to hold on? Can you tell me how to hold on to this one? Can you tell me how to hold on to that one? Well, listen, maybe that person's purpose is already over. Maybe that person's purpose is just temporary. Or maybe you're trying to force something that's already breaking. What do? Learn to let go. Learn to let go and release graciously. What else? Well, listen, learn to release without rewriting the history. What do you mean, Cutler? Just because it ended, it doesn't mean that it was bad. Just because it ended, it does not mean that it was bad. Learn how to honor the relationship how it was without resenting what it no longer is. Can I say that again, you all? We need to learn how to release, learn how to let go without rewriting history. It's over. It doesn't mean it was bad. Y'all, listen, I need to hold on to both sides of my seat. I told y'all, tell somebody, come on and let's talk to Cutler, because the man is just trying to help save our lives, trying to help save somebody. I'm trying to help rescue somebody emotionally. Learn how to release without rewriting history. Yeah. Honor what the relationship was without resenting what it is no longer. It's over. But appreciate what it was. Appreciate the beauty that it brought. Appreciate the peace that it gave you. Appreciate the strength. Appreciate the comfort that it gave you. Appreciate what it was. Don't sulk in what it no longer is. Honor what it once was. And that way, when you honor what a person brought to your life, you are able to graciously say thank you and release them. And then here's something that, listen, I had to learn it. I think a lot of people that I know had to learn this. Stop taking every exit personally. Stop taking every time a person leaves. Stop taking that personally. Sometimes people will move. People will grow. People will go on. Sometimes people leave because of their journey, not your failure. Their leaving is not your failure. And we think, oh my God, they left. They must be trying to call me a failure. No. Stop taking every exit personally. Sometimes people leave because of their journey. It's not about you. Cutler, calm your voice down. Not every departure is a rejection. It's not a rejection of you. It might be a redirection for them. I started to do like Southerners do, because you know I'm a Southerner. I start to go, woo! Listen, I'm telling you all this. Not every departure is a rejection. Sometimes it's just a redirection. So stop taking every departure. Stop taking every exit personally. Sometimes people don't know how to tell you that I need to leave. They know they need to leave, but they don't know how to tell you they need to leave. So don't take it personally. I'm trying to help us again. Last week, we talked about us not staying there. just because it's comfortable or because it's unfamiliar. It can be unhealthy and comfortable. It can be unhealthy and familiar. So we talked about not staying there. But now on the other end, what about when there are people who don't want to stay there? We need to learn how to let them go. Or when we need to leave, we need to help others. Let me help you, let me go. Let me help you learn how to release me. Let me just remind you, just to accept the fact that my purpose may have been temporary, that I don't need to force really what's over, that we need to release without writing history. We need to honor what we had, not be depressed because of what no longer is or can be or might be. We need not to take this exit personally, because it may not be about rejection of either of us. It may merely be a redirection. How many of us in life have ever had to redirect where we were going, what we were doing, how we were going to get there? I dare say if most of us went back in the portals of our minds, we would think, you know what? The path for my life, I wanted to unfold one way, but it unfolded yet another. That's called redirection. And as it was unfolding in the way that we did not intend, there were people that we had to let go. There were people we had to leave. There were people we had to release. It was not a rejection of them, but it was a redirection for you, for me, for us. How do we graciously let people go? Cutler, another way is perhaps give them permission to grow and go differently. Growth does not always happen in the same direction. Sometimes you have to look at the plants. Growth does not always happen in the same direction. A plant could very well be growing like that, but that may not be the direction of the sun. And when they discover that the sun is over there, they slightly lean into that direction and they begin to grow in another direction. Give people permission to grow differently. Growth does not always happen in the same direction. May I say this? You can love people and still acknowledge that you are no longer aligned with their current path, with their current footsteps. You can love them and realize I am no longer aligned with the everyday occurrences of their life. Give them the permission to grow differently. And sometimes you have to say that to people. I need to go because I'm growing in a different direction. I'm growing in a different direction. And here's something else, you all. I think this will probably sting. I know it might sting, particularly if we have, if we have, oh my goodness, there's this syndrome that is difficult for us to say goodbye. And if we have separation anxiety, that's the word I was trying to think of. Some of us have separation anxiety, but I need to share this with us. One of the things when it comes to releasing people, we're asking people to release us. I know that there are people who have separation anxiety. We see it every single day. But may I say, if you want to graciously release people, one of the things that you have to do is to choose peace over possession. Choose peace over possession. Why would you say that, Cutler? Because people are not property. They are individuals. Now, that may sting for some of us. I get it. It may sting for some of us. And maybe we can help the people that we've been trying to tell, you need to learn how to release me. Remind them that I am a person. I'm not property. I'm an individual. I'm not property. I'm a human being. I'm not property. Listen, I'm telling you all, people are not property. So choose peace. That's it, T. Cutler. Choose peace over possession. Trying to hold on to people too tightly often pushes them away faster. Do I need to say, listen, Somebody would probably say, Cutler, you're talking real good. Because when you try to hold on to people tightly and you try to hold on too tightly, what are you in effect really doing? What impact are you really having? What influence are you really having? What is the byproduct of what you're really doing? When you try to hold on to people too tightly, you're often pushing them away faster. Choose peace. They're not property, they're individuals. I need to choose peace over trying to possess them. That's what I need to do. And not only that, I need to learn how to release with words that heal and not words that harm. I know of situations where people have tried to walk away from certain things and tried to let people go from certain things. And sometimes because we can become so emotional. We can become so emotional because we do have detachment and separation issues and separation anxiety. How you let people go matters. I need to take my glasses off and jump through this screen because I'm telling you, how you let people go, it matters. Queen Nita, my friend, I'm telling you, it is true. How you let people go matters. And we need to learn to release with words that heal, not harm. You don't need a dramatic exit. You don't need a traumatic exit. Sometimes graciously releasing people sounds like this. And releasing with words that heal can sound like this. I appreciate what we've shared. And I respect where you are now. I appreciate what we had. I'm thankful for what we had. And I really do treasure and honor and respect where you are now. That's releasing with words that heal and not harm. And why would we do that? We do that because we want to avoid burning bridges that we don't need to burn. Oh my goodness, you all, I'm telling you, I've lived through this. I've seen this. I've experienced this. I'm so thankful. I'm so very thankful that I have had positive and gracious releases. I've been on the end of both ends of positive and gracious releases, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful that my relationships, my recent relationships in years has been such that we were able to avoid burning bridges that didn't need to be burned. Not every ending requires destruction. There are some things that happen in your life you walk away from and you don't ever want to walk into them again because they meant you no good. So there's some harmful and devastating situations that when you walk away from, you want the building to crumble. But there are other positive relationships that you had. They don't need to be destroyed. Not every ending requires destruction. Closure doesn't have to come with conflict. That doesn't have to, you don't always have to be a conflict to have closure. Why would you say that, Cutler? Because life has so much and more than enough conflict in it. We need to leave room for mutual respect, even if it is at a distance. I told y'all I used to live in Atlanta. I went to Atlanta to go to law school. And I still have mutual respect for a lot of my colleagues and friends and people that I encounter there. No harsh feelings. There is mutual respect, even at this distance. What are you saying, Cutler? Y'all, I got to get up out of here, but I just need to say this. Learn how to guard against bitterness. Learn how to guard against bitterness. And that has to be an intentional act on our part. It has to be a deliberate act on our part because unreleased hurt turns into silent poison. When you're dealing with hurt that's on the inside because of someone's leaving and you misinterpret it and you process it the wrong way, that is an unreleased hurt. And may I suggest to you that it turns into a silent poison that can kill you. It may kill you emotionally or psychologically. It may even affect you sometimes physically. But bitterness does not have to hurt. them. Guess who it hurts? You. When you are bitter and you are bitter to toward the person who leaves, it doesn't hurt them, it hurts you. And what does it do? It blocks your ability to develop more future relationships, healthy relationships, relationships with trust. So learn how to guard against bitterness, because it doesn't hurt the person who left, it hurts you. It hurts you. It hurts you. Can I just give you one more and I'm done, you all? I promise I'm done. If you all just let me say this one. Listen, learn how to recognize when the roles have expired. Learn how to recognize when the roles have expired. People can stay in your life, but not at the same role. Not in the same role, not in the same capacity. Not in the same role, not in the same capacity. Someone who was once close to you, one day might just be a casual acquaintance today. And that's okay. People's roles in your life change. Let them change, you all, and that's okay. Let them go, and that is okay. Trust that letting go creates the space for others to come. Sometimes others don't come. What you need does not come because you haven't released what's no longer needed, or who is no longer needed in that capacity. I hope that we all have enjoyed this conversation. I hope this is one of those conversations that you go tell somebody, no, you need to go and listen to that broadcast. Because Cutler was just trying to help save us emotionally and psychologically and even physically. Learn how to let go. Learn how to let go. Because many times it is only until you learn how to let go that you create the space for new to come. Got to get out of here, you all. Let's keep doing what we do. Let's keep building community, maintaining connectivity. Let's keep our heads up, keep our hopes up. And please do know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. And until the next time we talk, go and tell somebody else, come on and let's talk to Cutler, because honestly, the man is just trying to help save somebody's life. I'll see you the next time I see you next Tuesday. Good night, all.